Hi, this is Randle here with No Market Media.
And I'm Matt. Today, Randall and I are doing something a little bit different. We are answering questions that were sent in to us by our viewers. We asked people to send the questions that you would like to see us answer. And today, we're going to learn a little bit more about the movies and TV shows that Randall and I enjoy, and maybe some possible reviews in the future. First question talks about possible reviews. So, Randall, how do you feel about possibly doing a Troll 2 review?
Well, so for those who may or may not know, we're not talking about Trolls World Tour. We're talking about Troll 2, which is definitely not Goblin.
Nimebog! It's Goblin spelled backwards!
The best, worst movie ever made? Honestly, I'm a little bit on the fence about making a review on that, but there's a reason, because it's been done by so many people. So you kind of start thinking, well, what is something? What's an angle that I could take, or that we could take if we did a review on it? It's been trodden on so many times. How would we make ours any different or better than what's already out there? So that's kind of my thought. I'm on the fence about it. I don't know about you.
Oh, I agree. I have the same thoughts too. I mean, part of the reason I watched is because of hearing everyone talk about how bad it is, or the infamous scene where the guy has the fly on his face. He's like, they're eating her.
Now
and then they're gonna eat me.
Oh my
So-
god! Oh my god!
Even if you haven't seen the movie, you've probably seen that internet meme before too. So yeah, I agree. A lot of people have already touched on it. But as a movie, I mean, I don't actually need an excuse to watch again. I mean, I love watching Troll 2. In college, I had like some of my buddies and I, we'd have a bad movie night. We would seek out these horrible, awesome movies. And I agree with you, Randall. This is the best horrible, awesome movie. It is so bad, it is good. So
hey, it's
would
right up there with The Room, man.
Yeah,
the
right
Room
up
is
there.
just encroaching. Encroaching.
Yep, I agree. The Room is another one of those movies like that.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
So, I mean, heck, I would also, like to talk about Troll 2, sure, but I don't know that Randall and I would come up with something, original, that other people aren't really talking about, or, this topic hasn't been overly done as it is.
Yeah. Maybe a more generalized, what makes the best worst movie as a topic. So you're not just talking about Trolls 2, but you're talking about some other, this is so bad it's good kind of movies. Maybe that's a topic we might hit at. So we have another question. We have several questions here. The next question up is, what are the type of movies that you really like to see in theaters?
Well, Rand, I think both you and I will like to see just about any movie in the theater, but one specifically, it's like, all right, I gotta
That's
go
a
see
lie.
It. There's some movies that you choose not to go see in the theater.
There really are. But what's your answer to the question, anyways?
My real answer to this question, basically, like action movies or movies that have like lots of wide establishing shots. That's one thing about the movie theater, is seeing like the big screen to enjoy something on, a bigger screen, something that there's like small details and stuff that you want to check out. One like Avatar. I mean, that was one that, granted on how you feel about like the movie, visually it's very stunning and something that you want to see in theaters. 300 was another one. One of my most recent favorites, Mad Max Fury Road. That is a movie that I circled and said I need to see this one in the theater, not wait for a video. A lot of it too, not as much as it used to be, but also like the surround sound. I mean, if your home has a really good surround sound, maybe you don't need to go to the theaters. But me, I like having that sound immersion, visual and sound immersion. So I'd say action movies and like big epic scale movies are ones I have to go see in theaters.
I just want to let the audience know that my daughter's out in the hallway being like, my pants! I don't know what she's talking about, but I think she wants her pants.
Honey, where are my pants?
So if you hear something in the background, it's fine. It's fine. So on the topic of the question, so there are films that I really don't like seeing that much in theaters, and they're comedies. Because, there's a little bit of a sway of the crowd. If the crowd starts laughing, maybe you kind of start laughing. Or maybe, which happens to me kind of often, I find something funny or I catch something because I watch so many movies that I laugh and no one else gets the joke. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Um, Comedies for me are very much an at-home thing, but what I really like seeing in theaters is horror movies. I think the immersion, that surround sound, the big screen, the fact that it's dark and I don't have to wait until a certain time. Like, I hate watching horror movies in light. I hate it. And like when summer rolls around and it's like, I want to watch a horror movie, but I have to wait until 9:30 to start it. you know, Horror movies. I like watching those in theaters.
Me, I'm a little bit different. Like in comedies, I am the one person that's always laughing in the theater, and everyone knows me by my laugh. And then horror films, I'm a little bit of a weak person. I don't know that I necessarily like watching horror films in the dark, though it really depends. I did like, It Chapter 1, watching that in the theater, so that was really good. Randall, the next question that we have is, what's a movie or show you thought you would hate but end up loving? And what is something that you went into expecting to enjoy but you ended up hating it?
Okay, so I'd think pretty good on this one because I give just about everything a shot, and I don't go in thinking I'm going to hate very much because generally I avoid watching things that I think I'm going to hate. But the Stargate TV series, I went in with really low expectations for them and ended up loving them. I thought Stargate the movie, the Roland Emmerich classic movie with Kurt Russell, had done what it needed to do. I'm like, oh no, that story's told. Where do you go from there? And yes, the series did retcon a little bit to make their storyline possible. But the world that was made, 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1, 5 seasons of Stargate Atlantis, and 2 seasons of Stargate Universe. That will not be the first time Stargate Universe is mentioned in this, by the way. I thought they did a fantastic job. Now, the other way around, something that I thought that I would really enjoy, but I just never could get into. In fact, I've never even finished it. I have started it like 3 or 4 times, and I just can't finish it, is The Fountain. At Stellar Cast, supposed to be great. Everyone loves that. They're like, this is a fantastic film. And I just don't. I can't even get into it. I think the furthest I've gotten into it is like 40 minutes, and it's a 3-hour movie. I don't know. Doesn't work for me.
One thing that I thought I was gonna hate or wasn't really excited for, but then end up getting swept into it, has got to be Harry Potter. I was late to the Harry Potter game. I wasn't reading the books and everything. Yeah, and that's all you hear too. That's all at the time. That's all you're hearing about Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Everyone's excited for the first Harry Potter movie to come out, and me, I wasn't like that. I was kind of like, nah, I'm not jumping on the this Harry Potter bandwagon kind of thing.
If I remember correctly, when that came out, we were in high school or close. Yeah, we were in high school at the time, and you were basically bashing on it because Lord of the Rings was also coming out. You really did not want to hop on the Harry Potter bandwagon.
I did not. I did not want to get on the Harry Potter bandwagon. And now it's like the opposite. I got into the movie, really enjoyed it. After I was watching some of the movies, I went back and read the books and really enjoyed the books. Man, I was up late one night crying over Dobby dying in the book kind of thing with tears. I mean, I'm an emotional guy, but man, that's the first time a book really had me going like that. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, Matt, you're crying over freaking Harry Potter now. So it definitely a 360, 180 turn from, going in absolutely not looking forward to Harry Potter to really enjoying Harry Potter. I enjoy the Harry Potter series. On the other way, something I was really excited for, but end up being disappointed with, I'm still disappointed over it, is Batman v Superman. Batman is one of my biggest fandoms with Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Batman. I love Batman. And I figured they were going to be real close to like the graphic novels and stuff. And as I was watching the movie, it didn't ever really like catch me. But I was kind of like, all right, I was kind of like waiting. I'm like, all right, there's a chance this could still be good. All right, there's a chance this could still be good. And then when they get to the Martha reveal, it completely lost me. I honestly could have walked out of the theater right then and would have been fine. I mean, I would have missed the best scene in the film, which is the scene with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's the best character in that film, and she isn't Batman or Superman. It's Batman v Superman. So yeah, I even tried watching parts of that movie again, and I couldn't. I still get upset thinking about that movie.
Yeah, it's so weird when they do these kinds of movies and you're like, there's literally a graphic novel. All you have to do to keep fans happy is follow that storyline. You don't have to do it 100% beat for beat, but you just follow the storyline. It's there. Oh, it's so frustrating. The next question up on our list, though, is there have been many TV shows or just series in general, that have been defunct. They ended very soon. If you had to pick some or pick one to bring back and finish up its run, what would it be?
For me, it's Tron Uprising, and a lot of people might not know about this too. It was a cartoon show that was on one of the Disney channels, and it has Elijah Wood as one of the voice actors, and it takes place basically, I guess, kind of during the second Tron movie. It really takes place kind of before. It shows you what happens on the grid after Clue first takes over, and it's like the start of like an uprising against it, hence the name Tron Uprising. I really enjoyed this show, and I believe it was only like one season. Disney, I think, doesn't really know what they want to do with Tron. There's always been rumors that there might be a third Tron movie, but then it keeps getting pushed back. So no, I'm not really sure what the status of that is, but I am a big fan of the Tron universe. I did like Tron Uprising, and I feel like there was more that show could bring.
Yeah, I didn't really catch Tron Uprising. I watched like the first episode once upon a time, but that's about it. So this is a hard question for me because I have a real soft spot for shows that just end prematurely. One time I got my wife to watch something. It was the new V, the updated V, and it ends at season 2. And she's like, "That's it. I'm done watching shows with you that just end that don't have." So, but really, I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't say Serenity," and I'm like, "Listen, Serenity, Firefly, it's been done to death. Okay."
That's like the obvious answer.
That's the obvious answer.
I think we would all like to see Serenity / Firefly, even though I think the movie kind of gave us like a little bit of an end, but not really. But we all enjoyed that show and would have loved to have seen more episodes.
So I'm not going there. I had mentioned Stargate Universe only had 2 seasons, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and it ends with like the prospect that it could come back. So that's definitely on my list. V, the aforementioned V, which is an update. 1990s show Space, Above and Beyond, that would be great. But the ultimate winner, the one that I really, really wish they had done something with, is a little known show called Earth 2. Now, Earth 2, I doubt very many people know it. It's got like Tim Curry and it's fantastic. And it takes place on a planet that's off into the distance or whatever. It's very Earth-like, but it turns out it's not Earth-like at all. It just looks like Earth. And this group is just trying to get along in life, and it's from the 90s, and it was very early. It's got a storyline. And I think that's what killed it, really. Like, it would fit right in today. If the show was done today, it would be like, okay, there's a storyline and I can follow along. But in the 90s, that was a big no-no for the most part. And Earth 2 did that, and I'm sad that it ended after 1 season and it ended on a cliffhanger. I wish there was more of that.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I don't think that I did check out Earth 2, but maybe that's something I go back and try out, even though I'll be a little disappointed too. Like you said, it ends on a cliffhanger. So maybe I don't want to start that and be upset at the end.
I think that was the next thing that I wanted to watch after V. I was like, oh, we should watch Earth 2. And that was when my wife was just like, no, no more of that.
Maybe she's the smart one with that one. All right, Randall, here's the next question. What is one piece of media, whether it be, movie, book, video game, TV series, that you wish you could unremember so that you could experience it for the first time all over again?
This is a super hard question. Because, like Captain Kirk in Star Trek V, yes, it's the worst of the original movies. I get that, but it has a really good couple of scenes. Even if I didn't like something, or even if I want to redo something, I feel like, oh, it's part of me. And what if I take it away and I read it or I watch it again and it doesn't come back the same way and I don't like it? So for me it was really hard, but I think the only thing that makes sense for me is Ender's Game. I think no matter when I read Ender's Game, it is such an emotional ending. It is such a surprise ending. You don't see it coming. If you haven't read Ender's Game, read it. It's an amazing book. And I highly doubt you see the ending coming. And I would love to experience that surprise again. That shock, really.
I agree with you. This was the hardest question for me to answer. So many different ways I could go with this. Video games, thinking I could re-experience like Horizon Zero Dawn. I'd like to re-experience that all over again. And I was trying to think like, all right, why would I want to re-experience? Like, is it something that I enjoyed then, and would it still hold up today? But then I decided to go back with my original instinct on how to answer this one, and it's something that we already mentioned. You talked about how I wasn't looking forward to the Harry Potter series, and the one thing that I was talking about was Lord of the Rings, and that is what I would like to re-experience again. First time watching The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I did not read the books before that movie came out. My friends were all talking about who had read Lord of the Rings or had gone about those things, so there was all the hypes around that. The trailers and everything were giving me enough to basically experience Tolkien's world for the first time all over again. I would love to have that. Even not having the same experiences, with friends, seeing the movie again, but just experiencing the world for the first time again, Middle Earth again for the first time. I would love to forget and then re-go through that experience all over again.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, that's probably a pretty safe one that you're gonna like it again, so that's good. This question's specifically for Matt, and then there's a question that's specifically for me to end it out. Having now seen all of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, and it had such mixed reviews, how do you go now perceive the prequel trilogy?
All right, well, good Star Wars question. Let me start off by saying this, that Star Wars is such a large universe. The fan base is very diverse. So when you hear reports about people not liking it, other people liking it, that just goes to show you how different everyone in the fandom is. And I have a lot of friends that are on all different parts of the fandom. And I would think a lot of it depends on what part you saw first. For me, the first thing I saw in Star Wars was the original trilogy. And that's what I grew up with. That's what I love. That's where I got my love into Star Wars. I was really excited for the prequels to come out, but was disappointed after watching them because to me they didn't really feel like they fit with the original trilogy as much. It didn't really seem like the prequels, like what happened in the prequels was actually leading to the other ones. Even though the story's written to lead into it, to me they felt like a different world and stuff like that. But with that being said, after watching the sequel trilogy, I give the prequel trilogy more credit for actually having a a cohesion among those three movies. Even though the prequels I didn't feel fit as much with the original trilogy, they fit together, the three of them together. A one story with a vision start to finish. So I give George Lucas credit and stuff for that. Whether you enjoy those, not, mine not enjoying them as much doesn't take away from that. But the sequel trilogy for me is kind of all over the place. It doesn't really have that concrete vision of what it wanted from start to finish. They backtrack on each other too much that it doesn't really feel together. And that's the thing too. I think the whole Skywalker saga as a whole doesn't really fit together for me. They still feel like different parts in a wider universe kind of thing. But even with that in mind, I don't think it really changes what I think about the prequel movies by themselves. They're still not my favorites and not on par with the original trilogy for me. So the next question is for Randall. We did a Star Wars question, and this one is actually going to be for Star Trek for Randall. Randall.
Shock.
The next
face.
question.
Last question.
The last question, too. The next question and the last question. Randall, how do you feel about the direction that the new Star Trek shows are going? We're specifically talking about Picard and Discovery.
So, my biggest qualm with the direction is that I don't feel like the writers and the producers care enough about established canon. And they make stupid decisions that didn't have to be made. So Discovery takes place in the 23rd century, 10 years before the original series aired. And I understand, like, bringing things up visually. You can't have, the toggles and the dials and stuff that the original crew had when they filmed a show in the 60s. Let's be honest. That's just it's not realistic. But they have holographic communication, which makes no sense in the context of established canon. In the 24th century in Deep Space Nine, holographic communication is state of the art. It's brand new, prototype kind of stuff. And, you just have it in the 23rd century. It's a stupid canon decision to make. So I feel like if they made more attempts to care about the canon instead of just pissing off your established fans, people would like it more. Again, I don't mean to just pick on Discovery, but like the Klingons were completely redesigned. I mean, they look different themselves. Their culture is different. They're not as honor bound. Their weapons were different. Their ships look entirely different. You don't look at the Klingons and say, oh yeah, that fits with anything I've seen in any other form of Star Trek. And that's super disappointing. They did a little bit of fix up in season 2 of Discovery, but still annoying. And as far as Picard is concerned, I mean, I did a whole rant on some of the things I didn't like about Picard. And that was very much based on canon as well. So you said, the Star Wars films, like the Skywalker saga, doesn't really all fit together. Like each trilogy doesn't necessarily feel like a cohesive part. And I get the same feeling here where I'm like, okay, you tell me this is in the Star Trek Prime universe, but you're not showing me it's in the Star Trek Prime universe. And I would prefer it that way.
Well, those are all the questions we have for today, but Randall and I, we enjoy doing these Q&A shows. So if you have more questions that you would like to ask us, please send them, comment on this video or comment on our Facebook page, and maybe we'll do another Q&A session in the future. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to see other videos, and ring the bell so that you get updates on when our next videos come out. For No Market Media, I'm Matt. Have a good day.
And I'm Randall. Everyone have a great day.